Today on the TMZ Podcast.
Welcome to the TMZ Podcast here. Courtney.
Derek here.
Charlie Neff here.
And Jason Beckerman. We're going to start things off with Kanye West. Obviously, another day, another saga for Kanye, right? He's now under investigation for allegedly punching an autograph seeker, maybe twice, in the face, knocking him to the ground. There's video that had TMZ obtained and broke on the website showing the photographer, the autograph hound, laid out on the sidewalk, his photos that he wanted signed, spread out, obviously in a great deal of pain. LAPD is looking into exactly what happened, but it really seems that Kanye sort of came unglued for a minute here. There's video that TMZ got, and it has Kanye in the immediate aftermath of the incident screaming at somebody who appears to be his cousin, we think is a cousin or a family member, really going in on her for apparently allowing this to happen in some way, and make some really curious comments about all that he's going through. We have the sound.
Away from me. Give me your hand. Give me your hand.
Hey man, I'm protecting us now.
No, get away from me.
I'm protecting us now.
Give me your hand. I am your family. I am your family. Give me your hand. Give me your hand. Ain't no hand. No. You were supposed to talk to her.
Why did he just do that?
You were supposed to talk to her.
What is wrong with him? Can you please call the cops?
Wow, this is really heated.
It's an unbelievably dark turn. We just saw him earlier that evening, right? Giving a kiss to his new girlfriend, Julia Fox, outside of a club.
And partying with Madonna.
Yeah,
just really quickly,
volatility.
the male voice that you hear there, other than Kanye's,
Was the guy filming?
Is somebody filming this, who we don't know whether that person had a relationship with the person seeking the autographs or whatever, just a paparazzo who was filming Kanye at the time.
But he has to be talking about going through his divorce, right?
Yes.
Like that's what it all has
he
to stem back
specifically
to, because
says
he
that.
said,
That's
I'm
what we're
going
being
through
told.
something. And it's like, what else could it possibly be? And like seeing Kim out with Pete, like this is not...
Yeah, the emotions are raw, obviously.
Yeah.
He's going through something, but we have to remember, this is also Kanye. I mean, Kanye battles these mental demons. He's talked openly about it. And although we've seen him on an upswing with Julia, lots of smiles, kisses outside of the club, this sort of escalating fun tit for tat with Kim and Pete, this is also who Kanye is, right? Kanye is a volatile sort of guy.
Well, we've seen him get in many fights before with autograph seekers, like at LAX, all over the place. We've seen him get into it.
Yeah.
What sparked this specifically, we're being told, is that the fan had asked Kanye for a photo and for an autograph. And at the time, Kanye said he's going through a lot with his divorce specifically. And then that's when everything sparked off and he went in on this
But this
guy.
same autograph seeker was at Delilah, right? When we saw him leaving with Julia Fox. So like he was with him throughout like the night. So I could see where Kanye would be like, get away from me. I've already like given you something.
Right.
But it's never right to punch someone.
That's right. And part of the story I heard was that Kanye said, look, I don't want pictures now. And the paps outside of Delilah were respectful at that moment. If this guy then later disrespected that order, because Kanye feels like he's allowed to sort of order people around, I could see him snapping.
So we're getting to a point where it seems like, and maybe it's okay, justifying Kanye's, at least his anger towards this guy, towards an aggressive guy seeking a photograph, seeking autographs. Is it somewhat, I mean, look, you're never supposed to hit anybody. We know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's take that absolute. But it's okay to get really frustrated with somebody, and sometimes you just go a little nuts sometimes.
It's understandable, except that Kanye's been famous for a very long time. So he's dealt with these types of aggressive graphers, these types of aggressive
For
paps
a
for a
decade.
long
In
time.
the
And you got to
exact
learn
same- by
how
the
to
way,
be a celebrity.
He's done it in the exact same way, right? We have video of him years ago punching a photog at LAX.
He almost got in a fight with a stop sign. Remember that he ran into? He got so upset at
When he
it.
whacked his head into that
Yes.
sign, though, it's because he was so angry with the
Yes.
paparazzi for shooting him early on
That's
in his
one of my
I
favorite
love that
videos.
they like raised that sign
Right?
too.
Just
So no
so,
one
like,
could hit
he
it
can
again.
walk
Wait a
under
minute,
it.
is that true? They
Yeah,
raised
they
it?
raised it. Yes.
Well, Kanye's only like 5'5" and a
I
half.
know,
or something.
right?
Might
That
be
thing
too
must have been on
low.
the floor.
But I love it. Kanye is getting out of Los Angeles. He's already going down to Coachella to get ready for that and to work on Donda too. So he's like, I'm over it. Like the cops can contact me if
because
they
nobody
want.
will bother him in Palm Springs.
No.
Right.
You
Well,
know.
apparently it was planned because Kanye is like a genius, and he even moved into the stadium when he was doing Donda and all of that.
And
Yeah.
they had just announced that he was going to be headlining the Sundays at Coachella for 2 weekends, obviously in a row. And of course, he always has his Sunday service. The last time he did Sunday service at Coachella, he had like 50,000 people that came and like performed. So it's going to be insane.
So any chance of this incident derailing any of that? I don't think so.
I think
mean,
he's
it
moved
looks
on.
bad. It looks bad. It could be a felony because the
Mhm.
guy is really injured, and so that could escalate this into
Do we
a
know
more
his
serious
injuries yet?
crime.
Not yet.
Not
Not
yet,
yet.
not
We're
the
still
full
working on
extent.
it.
But he's laid out, man. I mean,
He's
he
not
doesn't look like
moving.
he's faking it to me.
But
I
even
do know he went to the hospital to get checked out after.
Yeah.
But even worst case scenario, if you punch somebody twice, assuming they don't have any sort of brain damage or certainly in mortal danger, he's not going to do any time. We can get rid of that. He may be arrested. He may be charged. He will then enter a plea bargain and
Just paying money.
pay money and be on probation and have to do some community service. That's about the worst that Kanye
Yeah,
faces,
it reminds
right?
me, you run the risk every time you clock someone like that they hit them, they fall and hit themselves in just the wrong way, like that guy at Dodger Stadium, and it becomes a much worse crime. It becomes a much worse scenario.
Derek
So-
really
Right.
wants to say a thing we all learn in law school, which is you're responsible for your victim, even if they have an eggshell head.
Yeah.
So their head cracks for no reason. You're still responsible for
Like
your
Humpty
victim.
Dumpty?
Oh
Like
my
Humpty
Exactly.
Dumpty.
Don't hit Humpty
That's-
Dumpty.
that's where it comes from.
It's the first thing you learn in law school.
I don't even
That's
know.
so funny.
I don't need to go to law
Look at-
school.
I
already
know.
did it.
We're so
Nailed it.
versed.
Speaking of really emotional situations,
Yes,
Dave Chappelle.
He was at the Peppermint Club last night, and he said he actually got a text from Bob Saget, but he never responded, and he felt really
Ugh,
bad about
That's
it.
got to be such
It
a
has to be
brutal
so bad. And he was
feeling.
like, it just happens sometimes. You get caught up in the moment. You don't text people back.
Oh, but I didn't see Bob coming. Man, he just texted me, and I saw the text yesterday, and I never texted him back because I was just busy. Yeah, it happens. I'm just saying this to remind you that these moments are precious, that when I come out at night, I'm not just hanging out, I'm making memories.
Bob Saget affected everyone. More and more stories keep coming out of all these different people that Bob Saget was so close with.
Yeah, this is,
Just in general, when somebody passes away, you immediately think of the last time you spoke with them, the last time you saw them, the last time you had a conversation with them. And so if that conversation is you not replying or not responding, that immediately makes you feel guilty and like makes you feel so sad. Like, oh, what if I did respond?
yeah, and you're so right. When we were watching the John Mayer and Jeff Ross thing in their
Yeah.
car,
Oh,
they
yeah.
were John Mayer was going out of his way to say, like, I'm just one story about Bob Saget. There are millions of these because he was so generous and reached out to so many people,
And
told
made
them he loved them
everybody
every
feel
time.
so special too.
Yes, so I can see what Dave is sort of saying, that if you didn't respond to that last time, it's going to weigh on
But
you a little bit.
his sadness did not in any way get in the way of
No,
his
it
comedy.
did
Moving
not.
right on. It's about LGBT.
Yes, we actually have sound. He made he was talking about that, what he will not be making fun of in 2022 anymore.
The new me is not gonna do any of those transphobic, bigoted jokes. It's them. No, bro. And I'm gonna tell you something else. I'm not in a battle with the transgender community. That's ridiculous. I do not blame the L's, the B's, the G's, or the T's. Blame the Jews.
I love
It's
Dave
typical
Chappelle so much.
Dave
It
to
really
pivot
is.
from something very offensive and then tag it with something even more offensive. That's
But I
just who he
actually
is.
do believe in that he won't do those jokes anymore because I feel like that was his stand-up in 2021, and Dave Chappelle's always changing it, so he
Yes,
wouldn't stick
he-
to it anyway.
And
He's
it was
not-
it
go
was
ahead.
literally called The Closure, where he
Yeah.
said, I'm
Yes.
talking about this once and that's it. I'm laying
He's
it
like
all
giving
out
himself
right
like
now.
a pat on the back and like, look, America, give me a pat on the back.
Yeah.
I won't do it, but he wasn't going to do it anyway.
But he wanted to make clear with the Jew joke that he's not stopping the LGBTQ
BTQ.
commentary
Yeah.
because of the haters. He's doing it because he's a genius and he's going to move on to something better and more offensive eventually.
No, that's exactly right. He's saying I'm not being bullied or cowed by their arguments. I'm just moving on because it's stale now. But is that good enough for the people who are upset? That's
No,
what I'm
definitely
genuinely
not.
curious. Like, he said this stuff, and I love James Chappelle, and I will move on and move on from it. But some
You'll
people-
move on?
Oh, you'll move on? Were you hurt by it?
Which member of the community are you that you need to move on from this?
I know. He's like, I've forgiven him.
But
Straight white men have been forgiving people for a long time. Yeah.
it feels like though he's going to step into this role of polarizing comic for the rest of time, though, right? He's now no longer going to be Dave Chappelle, who everyone can love, right? Because he's not handling it in a way of like attrition or sort of he's not contrite about what he did.
Do you think Dave Chappelle has lost or gained fans as a result of this controversy?
Certainly
Gains
lost.
fans. Oh, no way.
I
I
think
think
he's
the opposite.
stayed right.
There are some
He's
people
going
he has
against
lost.
cancel culture.
But I feel like
People
he's
hate
right
Yes.
where he
cancel culture.
was.
So I
He's
think
lost.
he has lost some people,
Yeah.
very few, I think, and he has gained a level of notoriety that even Dave didn't have already. He is more famous now, which is unbelievable to think. He's more famous now than he was before. I think he's better off as a result of the controversy. I really do.
But what is his next target? Like,
I know.
who
Makes
is he
you
going-
like. I hope it's
There's
not
a
like
native-
blonde female.
Right?
I'll be shaking in my
Someone is like
boots.
sweating in their
I know.
house.
It's
There's
like,
like
who's it
Native
gonna be?
Americans terrified
No,
right
no.
now.
I'm so
It's coming
sorry.
after them.
Well, because I just saw on Instagram he's coming to the Hollywood Bowl in April, so I'm trying to get my tickets for it because I'm like I have
That
to
would
see
be
Dave Chappelle.
amazing.
Courtney did not get lost. The fan
No,
base.
he's from Ohio. I gotta support my native Ohioan.
You do.
You are right, though, that seeing what he says next will drive ticket sales, right?
Oh,
If
yes.
nothing
definitely.
else, everyone wants to go to the concert to see, go to the Hollywood Bowl and see who he sort of tags in his next, in his
Yeah.
next rant.
Even if he picks something like super lame, like, oh, I'm going to go after dinosaurs next, I'd still go.
I'll pick what he's going to go after. He's going to go after overweight people. It just
Overweight?
feels
You
like
think so?
it feels
You
like
think
that is the
overweight?
new taboo issue to be like everyone body positivity, and I think
Right.
Dave will take that on, 'cause
Which
he
is
hates
and-
those
Oh,
things.
that would
which is
be
up
good.
until 5, 6, 7 years ago, it was okay to make jokes at the expense of overweight people.
Yes, and now it's
And
not.
And now it is
Yeah.
completely.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Weight
Demi
Watchers
Lovato.
even had
Doesn't
to
it
change
feel
their
like the right
name.
one?
Very good.
Victoria's
Yeah, it's
Secret
very good.
had to
Yeah,
rebrand.
there's no more angel.
It is the
yeah.
sacred cow. What it was the sacred.
Oh,
Derek.
It is though that
Trying
issue,
to give him
yeah.
material.
I didn't mean it that way. I meant it's the like.
So speaking of
untouchable.
offensive, just to
I
segue
know.
over, Djokovic, the Joker, right? It's bananas.
The saga goes on, and now an Australian immigration minister has said, "You're not coming in. You're
Yeah.
not coming in." So he's got another ruling against him. This is huge. His visa was canceled for a second time. He is still facing deportation. The Australian immigration minister, this guy named Alex Hawke, made the ruling and said it was in the public interest. This is how sort of officials speak, and they basically the argument is he's saying, "I look at all the facts before me, and Australia has worked very hard on the pandemic and the response to it, and we're not going to let one person jeopardize all of the efforts that we made. And the record before me about what Djokovic did in the aftermath of getting COVID, that he was out at the children's event, looking at all the facts, I call it the totality of the circumstances. He says, I don't think he deserves to be here." So this is huge.
It's
this
a
guy is
remarkable
now
statement. I'm
remarkable.
not sure it would fly in this country for somebody without specifically pointing to rule or policy violations that happened on American soil. If it was America on American soil, I don't think that an official could simply deny access based on the public good. I think Djokovic would then in this country would go to court and get that overturned because there's no violation that Djokovic is accused of American law.
Isn't that what he did the first time? He went to court and a
Right.
judge ruled. So would
The
he
judge
just have
did
to
overturn it.
So would
That's
he
right.
just have to like go through this whole entire process again?
He's going to go through it again. Here's the big wrinkle for me is the clock's running out. The
Yeah,
Australian
the
Open starts
When
on
is
Monday.
it?
Yes, Monday.
Monday.
Oh my gosh, they need to. I feel like this is
like
the
they're-
longest like match ever. He's been there for so
They
long.
really-
There's been
they
drama
really
every
need to get
day.
over
Now,
this.
now
Yeah.
something you can usually get, Jason knows, is you can get a stay pending appeal. So this ruling, you can have it put aside until you work out an appeal of it. I'm not sure in a public health context whether you can get that and Djokovic can come play the Australian Open because public health is at stake. I don't know the
Even
answer
if
to
a
that or
judge
how
ruled
Australia
in
works.
his favor?
Well, one judge has ruled in his favor. Now an official has denied. So
Right.
the last thing is the denial. We know the prime minister does not like Djokovic, doesn't want him in the country.
Right.
So how does this play out? Can he get the stay?
We don't really know because we're a little bit over our skis talking about procedure in Australia. We can only say that typically, if this was here, it would be resolved over the weekend. You would have it go up through the appeals process quickly, and some sort of an appellate judge would make a final ruling on this by Sunday.
Right, an emergency ruling.
An
You'd come out
emergency
of bed
ruling
and-
because when you have such, there's tens of millions of dollars potentially at stake. There's all sorts of big issues that need to be resolved right away. We would handle it. My guess is Australia has the same procedure in place. Very sophisticated legal system there. They know what they're doing, and they will somehow resolve this through an appeal to a judge. But to Courtney's point, we've already had a judge rule on this once. I don't know
right.
what new wrinkle has been added that would cause. We know why the public policy statement was made by the politician, but we don't know why a court would rule differently this time.
I'm just so curious that let's say they say, okay, you messed up on many, many levels. You cannot play, right? If you are a tennis player in this match, you want to play Djokovic because then that means like if you win, you are the best, right?
No, you want to
Versus
win
if-
the tournament.
But
Yeah.
if he doesn't, but if he's
They'll
not
get
in
over
it,
it.
you didn't really like win
But
though.
is
You
that
gotta
you're like,
play
there's an
everybody.
asterisk next to
But
it.
is
Right.
that why
Yeah.
they're doing all this? Because they know he's going to win and they don't want him to win? He's hated by people.
He
He's
is.
hated.
He is
and I
hated.
feel like if
He
this
is.
was any other player, this would not be happening.
So, well, no other player would have done this, right? I mean, that's first of all. Secondly,
That's why they
he's
hate him?
disliked for a reason, and
Yeah.
because he does stuff like this, and he thinks he's above everybody else, and but the truth is, yeah, nobody likes him. and he's on the verge of breaking Federer and Nadal's record for the most number of majors won. And those are two guys who are totally beloved. And so there is a lot of emotion behind keeping him out of this tournament.
You think the Prime Minister's a big Roger fan? Just got Roger.
I think
Nadal
everybody's a Roger fan, right?
Yeah, I think it's an open question. I have called that he's not going to play this tournament.
You don't think so?
That's my thought.
Well,
I would love to hear your guys' thought. The reason I say that is the Prime Minister has staked out this position, and he runs the country. The Prime Minister is like, I don't want this guy, even though the court system is saying he can play. I think the Prime Minister is going to Bigfoot it, maybe run out the clock with this sort of political stuff, and he's not going to get to play.
I think he is going to play, but I think the drama is not going to end there. If he wins or if he loses, there's going to be some kind of narrative that attaches along too. If he wins, it's going to be like, oh, he did a lot of things to get here that were like, untruthful, and he's going to get a lot of heat for that. But then also if he loses, people are going to say, well, he wasn't given like a fair advance. He wasn't given fairness because he was, stressed out about all these things that were happening to him.
So there's asterisks on anybody's name who wins this tournament.
Definitely.
If it's Djokovic or if it's not Djokovic.
What do you think, Court? Quick.
Well, because why wouldn't
Play
he
or no
appeal?
play?
He's going to play.
Play or no play?
Play.
Play.
All
Play.
right,
So
we'll
3
see.
plays and 1 no play. God, I love being the only one.
I know.
It's going to be so great.
You're not going to be right,
They're
though.
not going to let this villain hold the trophy in Australia. Come on, guys.
By the way,
They will,
speaking of
and it's going to be awesome.
Speaking of villains, not sure which one you guys think the villain is in the Spears family, but Britney and her sister Jamie Lynn are going at it again. As you guys know, Jamie Lynn has a new book coming out called Things I Should Have Said.
I will not be buying it. I cannot support Jamie Lynn.
I already pre-ordered
I
it. Can't wait. But so she did a sit-down interview for Nightline, talked about her sister Britney, saying that she was like erratic, that at one point Jamie Lynn remembers being like held in a bathroom with Britney, and Britney locked the door and was holding a knife, and like all these crazy things about her sister. And Britney has come out with a statement saying that she felt like Jamie Lynn's just trying to sell books, and said that for Jamie Lynn to say that she was out of control and erratic and all this stuff, Jamie Lynn wasn't around enough. She's 10 years older than Jamie Lynn, and Jamie Lynn has no grounds to be speaking on anything about her. And then also, it's
What
kind
a
of,
charitable, coherent version of Britney's statement. by
I
the
know.
way,
I
on
was gonna
Instagram.
say,
but
it's
you know
This
what
is
I
the
love?
problem.
It's
Britney's
also
statement did
peppered
not sound
in
that good.
with like her saying that she's feeling sick. She has this like fever. She can't get her security to
104.
get her medicine.
But it's 101 now because Sam got her
Well,
Advil.
Yeah.
Let's
If
be
any-
honest, his statement was a mess.
If
guys.
any
It's
adult
yeah.
has 104 fever,
You should go to the
immediately get yourself
hospital.
to the emergency
Yes.
room because you don't want to. You're going to die.
If anyone
Your
has
organs are
104
shutting
fever,
down. Yeah.
Children can get 104. You still should go to the hospital,
Yeah.
but they live through it. 104, an adult, you're going to cook.
By the way,
Yeah.
did anyone read
Cool.
it and think she definitely has COVID?
Yes, I did.
It crossed
I was
my
like,
mind.
She's like, my body aches. Like,
No,
I have a
I
headache.
1000%
like-
And then
did.
immediately thought that's the least of her problems.
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Jamie
she
Lynn-
also said that she, and I do believe it, that Britney Spears gave Jamie Lynn everything. She wouldn't have anything if it wasn't for Britney. And that's 100% true. Like, Jamie Lynn Spears is Jamie Lynn and got Zoe 101 because she's Britney
But how far
Spears'
does
sister.
how far? Then you have to forgive Dad Jamie a lot too, because Britney doesn't achieve her success without Jamie. Just because you're
Britney really doesn't exist without Jamie.
Right, yeah.
She
What
hates
What are you guys
him.
talking
No,
about? Jamie,
Jamie-
wasn't in the
Jamie
picture
wasn't
at
in it
all
at
when
all.
she was
Jamie
being
made
successful.
Britney.
they
No,
know
the
her
mom
talent.
did.
did.
No, Lynn
Lynn
did.
Spears.
Oh,
Right.
I
Yeah.
meant
Jamie.
sort of physically made her.
Oh,
He's half of Britney
gross.
Spears, guys. I mean,
Oh,
in a
why'd you have to get all
but-
weird with it?
I get it's his nature.
I
Just a
know.
sperm donor.
I guess the way I'm thinking about it is just because you rode somebody's coattails to get somewhere doesn't mean your opinion doesn't matter. Doesn't mean you can't have angst or anger or a sadness about that person. She can be mad at
But
Britney.
she keeps using her sister.
Yeah, she does. Right.
And now she's even using her again in this book.
You're absolutely
Like-
right. She's using her to sort of perpetuate or prolong her own career, and that's okay, isn't it? I mean, we all do what we need to
Like
do.
everyone
to
has
make
their
money.
own truth, is
Right.
what you're saying.
And also,
Then-
just to take her side a little bit, just
You
think about
always
what
take her
Jamie
side.
Lynn's life has been. Yes, she was on the rise to stardom. She gets Zoe 101 riding Britney's coattails
Britney
when
didn't
Britney
get
was
her
good.
pregnant?
No, Britney didn't get her pregnant. That part of her drama is her own drama.
did.
But remember, Britney dragging the whole family in, her saga also turned the family into sort of a circus, right? And Jamie Lynn could have just had a promising career from Disney star to movie star to singing star. But Britney's drama has also had a negative effect on her career. Yes, she can sell books and pivot and write stories
Negative,
about
but
the
also
negative stuff, but her career
positive.
could have. Yes, but her career could have just stayed positive if her sister, the very famous one, didn't go off the tracks. Do you see what I'm saying,
I do.
Jason? Okay,
I do.
so Britney hasn't been a net positive just because she's going to make money selling this book about Britney's drama.
Well, Jamie
Her life has
Lynn
still been in shambles.
Jamie Lynn saw what Britney had said on her Instagram, and Jamie Lynn has responded. And so she is now saying that she has tried to talk to Britney about these things privately and is like so sad that Britney goes on social media and says all this stuff because now her and her family are getting horrible death threats. And she basically said, like, it's not her fault that she also has the Spears name and she has like a story to tell as well.
She sounds like
It's true. She was born with the Spears name. What do you want her to do? I mean, you can't pick your parents and your sister.
I know.
Right?
Yeah, but you don't. I mean, I don't fault her, but you don't have to comment on your sister's.
Yeah.
True. The
mental
brother
health.
doesn't, right?
I
Brian
definitely
doesn't.
think
so there is
just
another
working in
path.
news, there's always two sides to every story. And sometimes it doesn't have to be one side is more truthful than the other. Sometimes it can meet somewhere in the middle. So I am looking forward to reading Jamie Lynn's book, even though I am technically Team Britney. I am looking
Technically, you are full-throated Team Britney.
I am
Yeah.
looking forward to seeing what she says and picking it apart. So
Let's move to something
And
fun.
picking it
right?
apart. I love it already.
This is so heavy. We've got guys excluded from the Australian Open, Britney drama, all this Kanye stuff. Let's do something fun at the end. Olivia Culpo, who is one of my
This is
favorite
amazing.
follows. She is she's a model in her own right. She's also the girlfriend of Christian McCaffrey, one of the greatest NFL players currently, right?
Right.
Okay. So she was getting on a plane. She was going on a little trip to Cabo with one of her girlfriends, who's also stunning looking. And
Her sister.
That's her sister.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was her
They're
girlfriend.
there's like a
What a beautiful family.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
a beautiful family. It's a couple's trip. There's 7 of them all going.
Got
Yeah.
it. So she's about to get on a
American
flight
Airlines.
on American Airlines, and her sister starts going live on Instagram or puts an Instagram story where she says Olivia wasn't allowed to get on the flight because of what she's wearing. And Olivia comes up from in behind the video and shows what she's wearing, which is a
bralette.
A bralette. Yes.
Can we not have Derek describe
I
that?
know.
He's
Yeah.
sweating.
She's basically
I know. He is sweating, like sometimes like closing his eyes. I'm
I
like,
know.
open
You
your
can feel my
eyes.
heat radiating.
Yeah,
Ew,
face, you're
I don't want to
red.
feel anything.
Let's
from you.
let's go to our
Yeah.
fashion correspondent,
Yeah.
Charlotte.
What is she wearing? How do you
she's
describe
got
it?
like a long sweater on, but underneath she's got a bralette, and then she's wearing like high-waisted shorts.
They're
right?
like biker shorts, though, right?
Biker shorts.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, does it
They're
matter
tight.
what kind of shorts?
And
She's
the
wearing a bralette.
shirt is open.
Yes.
It's an open,
You can
fully
see her
open.
stomach.
You can see her stomach. She's wearing a bra.
The point
and
is
she's
they're-
wearing biker shorts.
The
And-
point is, it's not an overtly sexy outfit like you would see in Las Vegas. It's not intended to be. She is overtly sexy because of who she is, but the outfit is almost sporty,
I'm
right?
so curious.
You would work out in an
though.
outfit like
But
that.
I understand, but they stop people before because you're showing too much skin, and she was doing it on top and
It's
bottom.
So the airlines have gotten a lot of criticism because there seems to be some body shaming that happens when sometimes it's women who are not in great shape who are coming on in small outfits getting kicked off planes. We've seen it many times, and the typical accusation is they're body shaming me because I'm a bigger person and I'm wearing. And if it was somebody skinny and hot, they wouldn't kick them off. So I actually think this is a strike back by the airline to say, look. Olivia Culpo, one of the hottest women in the world.
And they knew that she would
beautiful,
post it online.
and they knew they posted online. But I think that this was a good moment where they actually treated somebody smoking hot fairly, and so therefore, in turn, they're treating the people that are not quite as beautiful fairly. as
Well,
well.
it's
And a
interesting
lot
you
of-
say that because another woman comes up in the video who is wearing a very similar outfit. It's
But has
it's
on
long,
pants.
it's long pants,
has
but
on
it's also
leggings.
lots of midriff showing.
Yeah.
Looks sort of sporty, and she is allowed on the plane. And she's taking Olivia's side. She's like, "Look, girl, I'm getting on the plane like this, and they're not letting you."
Well,
I-
here's what I want to clear up because usually when airlines tell you can't get on, you have to change your clothes. It's because you are part of like the buddy system. You guys know when like there's a stewardess or not stewardess, what are
Flight
they called?
attendant.
Flight
Flight
attendant.
attendant. When she like can have family or friends like fly for free, like
Mhm.
basically there is a dress code associated with that. You have to do like
Sure.
business attire. So usually the people that get rejected are part of that group and they are supposed to be in business.
This wasn't
attire,
her.
this
She had
dress
a
code.
first class ticket.
Yeah,
Yeah, like, this was not her at
exactly.
all. But Christian had to give her her sweatshirt, and
Yeah,
they were
I
able to
saw
get on
that.
the plane.
He's a good boyfriend.
He's a
And then he's
really-
on the plane with his
He's
arms
free-
pulled into
Yeah,
his
he
shirt.
looks
freezing.
so
It's
cold,
freezing
like
cold.
on the plane. But they made
Planes
it to
are
Cabo.
freezing.
Their hotel looks amazing. And they already went out last night and they got so drunk. And I was so jealous that they're in Cabo having the best time ever.
All
It
is
is
well.
good to be rich,
I
young,
know.
and beautiful.
By the
isn't it?
way,
God, they are a stunning
know.
couple.
I
Yeah.
can't believe she wore this to the airline. When I come on like a flight, I am in full sweatshirt, long sleeve under that, t-shirt under that.
But you're going to Cabo.
sweatpants.
You know when you get off, you're going to be sweating when you get off.
You can all take it off. Layers, girl.
Yeah.
Courtney gets kicked off planes from time to
They-
time. Having nothing to do with her
Nothing
outfit.
to do with her
other
attire.
All right, everybody, thanks very much for joining us for the TMZ podcast.
Yeah, you can follow us on Spotify, Apple, Google, wherever you get podcasts.
We're
Watch us
also on YouTube.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.